Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm an English teacher and language anxiety coach. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about learning to write in English. And the reason why I decided to talk about this today is because I see many times that people really struggle with learning to write in English. And I think people get very disheartened at learning how to write because it's so hard and it takes a long time, and I think people sometimes feel very frustrated with their progress. So I really thought I would just talk about this today. Now, in my opinion, so I'm not saying this is a fact, but in my opinion, being able to write well in your first language is, if you think about it, considerably more difficult than, for example, learning how to speak in your first language, right? Everyone in your country can speak the language of that country, I imagine. But as we all know, sadly, there are people who never really learn to read and write in their first language, or who don't really do so to a particularly high level. So what this means to me is that speaking and listening is it's like a natural thing that human beings have evolved to do, right? Unless something really goes wrong in our childhoods, or unless we have some kind of very profound learning difficulty, basically we are going to be able to speak and understand listening our first language. But reading and writing are different. Reading and writing, we have to be taught those, right? No child picks up a pen and just starts to write things without some adult helping them. So it's a very different process. Learning to write, therefore, is a skill that you have to actually learn, study, and practice. Now, I'd like you to think for a moment about learning to write in your first language. Now, I'm educated to master's degree, so I can write pretty well. But if I were to compare the writing ability I had as a 16-year-old with the writing ability I have now, well, obviously my writing now is far better than when I was 16. But my speaking ability, probably it's the same. I don't suppose I speak much more better, or in fact I speak really badly now than I did when I was a kid. And this is really important because it shows me that learning to write has taken a very long time. The fact that I can write very well now is not because I'm clever or because I've got a gift. It's because I have done a lot of writing over many years. Academic writing, writing for pleasure, writing for business, And because of that, I can now write well. So what does this mean for you? Well, what I suspect it probably means is that you have to practice writing a hell of a lot more than you might realise. You might be thinking, well, my speaking is all right, kind of thing. Listening and reading is about C1, so what the hell's wrong with my writing? Why can't I write as well as I can speak or listen or read? And it's because writing is a very different skill to develop. You have to practice it. There's no way that you can learn to write if you don't actually practice. And when I say practice, by the way, I don't mean, you should write an essay every day, because that sounds awful. But you need to practice the sub-skills of writing. And you need to practice them until you are completely familiar with them. Now, if you watch any of my other videos about writing and exams, you'll know that I go on and on and on about paragraph structure. And the reason why I go on and on and on about paragraph structure is because it seems like most people can't write good paragraphs. So I talk about it a lot. But this is a really good example. Like, you don't always have to write an essay or a report or a letter. You can just sit down and write a paragraph. That's okay. Think about it. If you wrote a paragraph every day for a month, you'd have written 30 paragraphs. That's a lot. That is a lot of practice. And if someone taught you a paragraph structure and you wrote that paragraph structure one a day, every day for a month, in a month's time you would be completely familiar with that structure. The other problem I think people have is they try and do everything all at the same time. So people try and write essays and they try and do everything. So they try and think about organising, thinking of ideas, having good grammar, having advanced vocabulary, using linking words, blah blah blah. But that's kind of too much, really, to be practicing all at once. So you need to pick, I think, in my opinion, a specific focus, an objective. Well, I'm just turning around. Oh, now there's loads of people here now. You need to pick a specific focus for each bit of your writing. So it could be, okay, today I'm going to practice my structure, and the next time I write, I'm going to work on improving my grammar. But by separating out those different sub-skills, you can make it much easier for yourself to assess your own writing, but also to measure your own progress. So yeah, lots and lots of practice. More practice than you would imagine you need. 100% for sure. And don't get disheartened. You know, if you do something and your teacher says, well, it's all right, but that's not a reflection on you. That is just part of the learning process. And it's okay to fail, for want of a better word, to fail and to fail and to fail again, because that process of failing repeatedly is how you ultimately succeed. You can't, nobody succeeds at something first time. Tell me one Olympic athlete who succeeded the first time they did their sport. No, exactly, there aren't any. When you see the Olympic athletes, what you're seeing is the result of years of practice. And with writing, hopefully it won't be quite so much pain as the Olympics athletes probably go through, but it's the same idea. You have to put in the time, put in the effort, and be prepared to get stuff wrong for a long, long time. Separate out writing sub-skills, sentence structure, paragraph structure, grammar, linking words. Work on those separately and then start to combine them in longer bits of writing. My name is Sarah. I'm an English teacher and language anxiety coach. If you have any questions about writing, of course, please leave them under this video. I am always happy to answer your questions, and have a very lovely day.